Peace and Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, King053, Mr. Easy Imali Enenginei, and we're back at it again to discuss African matters. African matters, as we are still waiting for our Pan-Africanist Parliament to come in, all the members of the Pan-Africanist Parliament to come in. Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as we are still waiting for the members to come in. It's a Sunday night. Every Sunday we're meeting here at 9 o'clock to discuss our Pan-African issues. And today, on the top of the agenda, we are discussing the open border policy. The open border policy. What do we mean by open border policy? What are the benefits of open border policy? What are the disadvantages of open border policy? That's what we want to talk about today. That's exactly what we want to talk about today. Thank you so much for tuning in. My Pan-African Parliament, you're welcome. Pan-African Parliament, it's time for us to have some progressive African talks, things that is going to take us forward as Africans. Let's stop the fighting. Let's come with the solutions. Let's talk about what needs to be done. Let's talk about how it needs to be done. Let's talk about when it needs to be done. As Pan-Africanists, we need to be very patriotic towards our people. We need to be very protective about all of those things. Still coming in, please just give me a word on the comment section. Hear me, if you can hear me, and if I am visible, my audio and visuals, are they okay? Because you know I've been having problems in the past week with audios and especially visuals. I've never struggled so much in my life with visuals than these past 2 weeks where we could not host our talk. It looks like it has started again. Oh my goodness. We can hear you. As you can hear me, but you probably cannot see me properly. Eh? Oh my goodness. Not this nonsense again. Not this rubbish again. The visuals are not siyabu ehlala phezu kwayo. Ngihlale kanjani phezu kwayo mfethu? Ama-visuals wami angekho right. Mina ngiyazibuza ukuthi why le nto yenza kanje. Ngiyazibuza ukuthi why is YouTube doing this to me? Sometimes the live works, sometimes it doesn't work. And I want to explain the serious issue about the borders. Not a clear picture. Yes, I can see that, Henry. I can see that it's not a clear picture. I can see it's not a clear picture. I've been having this problem for 2 weeks now. I even upgraded the speed of my Wi-Fi. Your voice is quite clear, but the picture is not good enough. It's really not good enough. That is Dondolo. The picture is really not good enough. I've got all the perfect lighting on the world. I've got the best phone in the world. In fact, I'm using the best camera phone of 2023. It's not the phone. It's not me. It's not the lights. It's not my studio. You guys know I've got proper lighting here. Look at my light. I've got proper lighting on the left and on the right. I've got proper lighting. I don't know why is it that this YouTube does this to me. It's better now. It's better, but we don't want better. We want good and perfect. Because our standard is that we must be always on top of our things. But it's something that I don't have control over. Something that I don't have control over. Members of the Pan-Africanist Parliament, do you give me permission to continue, regardless of the picture quality that is not so clear? Let me see if I can just wipe the camera a little bit, but it's not the camera. I promise you, it's not the camera. Let me wipe it a little bit. Sorry for that. It's better, but it's not the greatest quality. Babu from the United States did send us some money for a camera, so next month we'll have a camera, a proper camera. We'll have a proper camera and make sure that we are shooting. There's a clear sabotage that is going on here. A clear sabotage that is going on YouTube. Every time I have to go live, and it's only on my times of going live. Like if I test the phone in the morning before I go to work, I like doing some tests, and in the afternoon when I come back from work or the gym, you find that everything is okay. But 9 o'clock Thursday, 9 o'clock Sunday, I like going live also sometimes on a Friday when I'm not too busy. You find that my quality, the picture quality, it's so poor. I'm watching it on my other phone. I'm not happy with the picture quality. I'm not happy. Fortune says it's not bad. It's not that bad. Not too bad. Okay, so today I want to, if you guys have seen the agenda on the table, by members of parliament, the Pan-Africanist Parliament, we're still speaking about the unity of African people and how the open border policy works and what are the disadvantages and advantages of having an open border policy. Because many people think when someone says open border, they think about taking the border patrol people away from the border, just breaking down the fence of the border, just breaking the walls and breaking everything and just letting everyone come in and everyone go out as you please. That is not the case when we speak about open border policy. And I want to explain it today as best as I can so that you can understand how it will work actually, or the suggestion of how it can work and benefit you as a person and benefit your country and also benefit the continent at large. Because at the end of the day, you can't have one country, for example, South Africa, opening its borders to South Africa will open its borders to Mozambique. South Africa borders Mozambique. South Africa borders Lesotho. South Africa borders Swaziland. South Africa borders Namibia. South Africa borders Botswana and Zimbabwe. Okay, so you cannot open the border alone. You cannot open your borders alone. There needs to be processes and policies that are implemented in all of those 6 countries for all of them to open borders at the same time. That is how you should approach the open border policy. Number one, the department that must be uniform is the Department of Home Affairs. Why is that so important? Are we clear? Can you guys hear me? I know you guys cannot see me very well, but can you guys hear me? Can I continue? Can you guys hear me? Am I all right to continue with all of this sabotage of YouTube and all of this? Why is the devil trying me like this? But are we good to go? Are we good to go? Can I continue, ladies and gentlemen? Are we good to go? Quality is so poor. So disappointing. Please continue. Clear. Audio is fine. Continue. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. So the first department that the country, South Africa, will have to merge with Zimbabwe and all of the countries that it's merging. Because let's talk about SADC, okay? And in SADC, let me not include Malawi, Zambia, and let me speak about the countries that are bordering us, that we border with immediately. So those countries will first introduce a united home affairs system where everyone's ID number and everyone's fingerprint is on that ID, on that database of the home affairs. So you can welcome from my again, Big Eddie, always here. Big Eddie TV is always here. So everyone, as you are taking your fingerprints as a child and you grow up, your fingerprints don't change; they remain the same. So there is a database of all our fingerprints. So if I go and, for example, I commit a crime in KwaZulu Natal, and I leave my fingerprints in the crime scene. They what do they call them? The forensics or whatever. They can determine. They can tell that King was in KwaZulu Natal because of my fingerprints. That's the first thing. Home Affairs needs to be, there needs to be a central database that all the Home Affairs send their information to. So should we run up against someone who has committed a crime? It's easy to track that person. And even if that person, if I go to commit a crime for example, in Namibia, I can lie and say my name is Thabo Bester. You remember that the Department of Home Affairs says they don't have records of Thabo Bester. He's using a wrong, a wrong ID that belonged to someone else. That young man came out. I think that young man was like 23 years old. He came out and said, "No, I am Thabo Bester. They say they are looking for me, but it's not me who committed these crimes and all of that." So I can lie in Namibia and say my name is Thabo Bester. They don't have a way of proving me wrong or right. They will just take me, put me in their prisons, and on their records they will write Thabo Bester, and you will find that that is not my real name. Okay, so that's the first thing that the countries are going to have uniform in the database of everyone born in every country and everyone's death in every country. Then you unite the correctional services. So the correctional services will then have records of everyone's criminal records. You understand? Everyone, remember the borders are still there. The physical borders are still there. We're not destroying the borders. Before we even discuss open borders, we have a serious problem. Cape Town independence. What is your take? I will go on that now. Those people could not even gather, I think, 500 signatures. I'll get into that. I'll get into that. Thank you so much. Imam Bilo. I'll get into it now. So the correctional service in there is united. So South Africans Department of Correctional Service will have records, all the records of Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Namibia, Botswana, and everyone that lives around the SADC area will have tenure. Thank you so much for listening, my brother. Thank you so much for listening. So we will have all of those records. So those two departments are very key in what we are in opening borders. Before you even open the borders, these are the things that you need to do so that the opening of the borders can be smooth. And opening of the border does not mean you abandon the border gate. There is still going to be traffic in the border gate. There's still going to be flow in the border gate. There's still going to be people that are border patrol that is going to be in the border gate. But the difference is that now you will not need a passport. You will not need. All you need to do to cross to another country is your identity document. Your identification is all you need. Don't need a passport, you don't need a visa, you don't need anything. You just need, even Botswana and Namibia and Zambia, it's already happening. Yes, I know it's already happening in Botswana, Namibia. To be honest, in South Africa and Zimbabwe, and South Africa and Lesotho, and South Africa and Botswana, it's happening, but it's not policy. People come and work in South Africa because they stay so close to the border and walk back at home. So after you fix the correctional service and you fix the Department of Home Affairs between the two countries, you then have a united police forum that a police, you know how Metro Police can be traffic cops and be policemen, JMPD, whatever they call them, King Temper from how are you? Big up African brother. Thank you so much. Today I got you live the first time, King said. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. So when we're fixing all of these departments, we need to have a police department supported by all the SADC countries. So meaning a policeman that can work in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Botswana, in Lesotho, wherever, in Zambia, wherever this policeman is working for the, let's call it the SADC police task force, or SADC police police whatever. It's in the SADC, because we have to start with the SADC. Just like the West is doing with ECOWAS, and the East, what do they call the East one? The East has got also its forum with the Eastern countries of Africa, and the North also have got something like that. The East are already saying they are starting their own currency, and now we need to follow here in the South, because that's the problem. We're having an issue that people are coming to our country, and those people are committing crimes. Those people are selling drugs. Those people are killing people, and there is no record. And South Africans feel like, King, we cannot support this thing of yours of Pan-Africanism and opening borders. This thing is going to kill our country. Everyone is going to move to South Africa and all of that. And that is the reason why I'm taking this time to explain the open border policy, how it's going to work. After you have fixed the police, now you've got the police working in the SADC area. Understand? And this will be a good opportunity. Some of you, your brothers and sisters, will find a job in the police force, and they will go and work, for example, in Botswana. And there they will meet their wife, a beautiful wife, and marry there, and they will grow their family, because our home affairs is united, our correctional service is united, our police force is also united. You need to unite those things, because those are the backbones of an open border policy. Without uniting those departments, don't you dare open the borders. I'm telling you, don't you dare open the borders. It's going to be problematic. And then after that, like I said, you put that police force, that police department that can work from South Africa to Lesotho to Mozambique to everywhere. This will have different types of police in that police department. Then you grow the punishment for crime. South Africa has got a high level of tolerance for crime, King. Yeah, it says, King, I don't see it happening anytime soon. Maybe SADC people should learn to respect the laws of other countries. Listen, the reason why there is no respect for other countries is, you know, when a child has grown up in a house that is strict, and or let me say that is not strict, a spoiled child. When they come to your house that has got rules and order, they find it hard to adapt. So that is why the laws of each country must not be too different from each other. You hear me, ladies and gentlemen? If it is a crime to steal in Zambia, it must be a crime to steal in South Africa as well. I'm just making a hypothetical example there, but the crimes must be the same. A person must know if in Zambia there's a death penalty for killing someone, for raping someone, whether I run to Zimbabwe, I rape someone, I'm going to face the same punishment. You understand what I'm saying? The issue that we are having is not a crime issue, and I keep on repeating this thing. The issue that we are having, especially here in South Africa, is a policing issue. Our police simply are not empowered enough to do the work. And number one, our police force is the ANC is using it as a job creation model. You know, we have employed 5,000 police where people are unemployed. They run to the police force for employment. They are not there because they grew up wanting to be a police. I told you guys that I went to the police force, passed the psychometric test, passed the physical test, but when they checked, I had tattoos on my body, and they said you cannot go to the police training because of tattoos on your body. And I grew up wanting to be a policeman, and I saw people who had no passion for being a policeman or whatever, a woman, entering in the police force, and now you see problems like corruptions, you see problems like police simply don't care, they don't even want to put their life in danger. Political will is also, we want, unfortunately, it will not come from current SADC leadership. Yes, and yes, it might not come from the Lawrence. Thank you for that comment. It might not come from this current leadership, but it should be a topic in discussion in the communities and in platforms such as this. You understand? And also, because you will hear other parties, they support this. Whether you go to Namibia, the landless, the people without land party, or you come to South Africa, you find the EFF. You go to Ghana, you'll find every country, you'll find one party or two that are in support of a United States of Africa. You understand what I'm saying, Taba? Pondering whom you looking up to when you were a young king of Africa. How did you learn all things about Africa? That hi guys, I'm not that I'm not that how do I say it? I'm not that as wise as you guys think I am. I'm passionate about Pan-Africanism, and it's not something that started at a very young age. I was a very naughty child. I think I've told you guys the story of my life that I've been to 10 different schools. From grade 1 to grade 12, I was in 10 different schools, because almost every school that I attended, after they gave me my report at the end of the year, they told my mother that thank you, but no thank you. We are fine with this child. I was a troublesome child, very naughty. And surprisingly, I was never involved in drugs or anything like that. I finished school without drinking or smoking. I was an athlete. I was an athlete boy, and on weekends I was playing drums at the church. But very naughty child. So my mother took me to boarding school. I attended a lot of racist Afrikaans boarding school and all of that. So I can't say that is anyone. And now when I read stories about Thomas Sankara, and I read stories about Chris Hani, Robert Subuku, and Samora Michel, Robert Mugabe, Gaddafi. When I read stories, I'm like, wow, these people were so amazing. So those are the people I admire, Marcus Garvey, I look up to such people. But when growing up, this was not me. This is a passion that I bumped into as I was starting to question life, and as I was starting to mature in life. And this is about, maybe I would say, what, 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. I started questioning life, and I started seeing things, and I started questioning, actually, until when are Africans going to be happy with speaking English? I'm the type of guy that asks that question. So sikhuluma kufike nini isilungu? Huh? So sikhuluma kufike nini isilungu? Huh? Are we going to speak forever English and French when you go to the west of Africa? Are we going to speak these languages forever? But one thing I have noticed in terms of all the empires that ruled the world, there is no empire that rules the world forever. The Roman Empire fell down on its knees. The Zulu Empire fell down. The Dutch Empire, when it came to Africa, fell down. The Belgium Empire, that looked like it had an unbreakable grip on Africa, fell down. The French Empire is busy falling down as we speak. So there is no empire that is going to rule forever. At one stage in time, it comes to an end. It expires. So I'm that person that was asking, when are we going to be truly liberated? How come that Africa has got all of these minerals that China needs, that India needs, that Russia needs, but these three countries, and America and Europe, let's leave those ones. I'm talking about these three because we are working with them as Africans. Why are they more wealthier than us? What is the determining factor here? What is the X factor? What is the elephant in the room? Why are Africans not uniting? You read about all continents. You go to China, you do the research about Chinese, and you find out the first people in China were black people. Then you ask yourself, if the first people in China were black people, then what happened to those people? Then you think it's a coincidence. You go to Japan and you Google the original samurais. You find out those people were black. And you're like, but no, man, what is going on here? What is going on here? And you go to Russia, and you make your research about the original people of Russia. You find that they were black. You know that the Americans speak about the black Indians, but actually there were other black tribes besides those black Indians in America before the colonizers landed there. So I'm the person that asks those questions, that when are we not only question this type of dominance by the Western world on Africans, but when are we going to start pushing back? When is Africa going to say enough is enough? And this type of conversations that we are having today, ladies and gentlemen, it's a seed. Things might not happen in our time. The only things that we've got control over is the things that we've got control over, like trying to establish Paseta, build our school, try to educate the next generation. That is the type of things that we might have control over. But when it comes to the future of Africa, we need to ask the questions now, because not asking the questions actually shows that we are sick in our mind. There's something wrong with us if we don't ask the questions. Is English going to be the dominant language in the world for mankind forever? Have you ever thought of that? With all the languages, there's 250 something languages in Nigeria alone. I don't know how many languages there are in Africa. I'm saying there's so many languages in Africa. We can't choose one African language to be spoken on all 54 countries of Africa. We can't choose one. We can't teach in one African language. Are we so So um, um, our conscience is it so dead that we don't have questions for these things. Remember, it's a process. Even with Africans, the way Afrikaners were dominating us in Africa, in South Africa, there was a time where these questions could not be asked. When you ask us questions, you get killed. You understand what I'm saying? But look at us today. We have a choice not to speak Afrikaans. We have a choice. Post 1994, you didn't have a choice. You had to read in Afrikaans. You had to study in Afrikaans. So I'm saying, why are we giving the British royal family so much power as Africans? You understand? It's leadership, my king. Everything. Ordinary people have no problems. Yes, ordinary people will have no problem because people who have the mind to question Lawrence don't question. You know, the slaves never knew they have strength to fight the master until one slave stood up and said no. When they talk about open border policy, but unable to ensure the function of the separation states. Yeah, TDSO. So, okay, let me go back to the open border because my TDSO is taking us back there. So, like I said, you don't open the borders without fixing the departments I said you guys must fix first. And this is what this is our contributions as Pan-Africans to the political world to say, guys, fix the home affairs, make sure there's a central database for all fingerprints of people in the SADC of Africa, because we have to pilot it here first. You can't just open. You have to open the border between South Africa and Lesotho first. Then you open the border between South Africa and Swaziland second. Then you pilot the things because you must merge the home affairs of those departments. So if anyone commits a crime here or there, we'll be able to tell who just that person is. Then I said, you fix the correctional service. You need to know who the criminal record of everyone in those countries that you are opening the border to. You can't open a border to people you don't know. You need to know when someone comes and says, I want to go to South Africa, they are free to go to South Africa, but because of their criminal record, they are blocked at the border. Then they can enter illegally, it's fine. Then when we catch them, then they will be arrested. But if you are a criminal, you've got a murder here and there, whatever the case can be, it prevents you from entering other countries. You understand? Like I said, the borders we don't break and do away with. We just make it easier for our African brothers from other countries to come to our country and for us to go. I'm telling you, I was so excited when I heard that the sanctions are lifted from Zimbabwe, because I want to do mining in Zimbabwe. The artisan miners in Zimbabwe, they only need $2,500 to register for a mining license. And I've been having a friend that is king. We need to do business, but because our banks were working with America sanctioning Zimbabwe, you could not do business with a Zimbabwean brother. But now that door is open because those sanctions are off. Zimbabweans will be able to make some money and some progress with other people from other countries, especially from South Africa. So when you open, when you fix the home affairs, you fix the correctional service, you know who has criminal records and whatever, and you can stop other people from coming and other people from going. And then you have another Department of Police, where you make sure you unite the police force of the SADC countries so that you can have a stronger police force. I come again and say the problem in South Africa is not our Nigerian, Zimbabwean brothers and whatever. It's because our police simply don't do their work. And the reason that if I was a policeman and I was working for How much do police get paid? 14,000 rand. 14,000 rand a month. You can't even buy a car. That's your rent for 4,000, 3,000. If you have a family, you're renting for 8,000, 9,000, and a 3-bedroom, a 2-bedroom. If you build at your township, you can't afford the petrol money, transport fee. There's so many things that police face, and then you have to take in consideration the danger of their jobs. Criminals are ready to kill for selling their drugs, and are ready to do whatever they need to do. That's why you find that now that's why you find that now police are afraid to engage some of these these criminals. You understand, Lawrence? No, ba tlogele ba tletse mo di-comment section ba tlogele. When we speak about uniting Africa, the people that get the most pain is white people. The Afrikaner people get the biggest chest pains, because they don't want to see Africans unite. They don't want to see them. So if we do it the right way, it will show the rest of Africa, and will show the rest of the world that Africa is not a jungle. Africans are united. So we don't get discouraged when and I don't know, you guys, if you've been on my live chats, almost every time there is some Afrikaner people talking smack on the comment section and whatever. It's normal. That is how they were brought up. Understand? And it's not all of them, unfortunately, but most of them, they will show you that they don't have the heart of unity. That is why I was angry to Julius Malema when he said he wants to share the land equally to his people. I said, no, I don't even want to hear words like that. I understand sometimes it's a political strategy, so that because he's a politician and he's a leader, he can't say other things straight up. Greetings from Malawi. An imaginary border that never exists. Yes, the other borders, they simply don't exist, my brother. I can literally walk to Namibia. There is nothing stopping me from walking to Namibia. I can cross. I've walked to Namibia a few times because I work at the border with my department, the Department of Agriculture. So we work at the border. We are sharing the Sahara Desert with Namibia. So with the desert, when we do our patrols and everything, we walk in and out of South Africa. I don't even need my passport to do that. And we see people walking to South Africa in the morning and walking to Namibia in the night. And the same goes with Botswana, the same goes with Swaziland, the same goes with Lesotho, the same goes with Zimbabwe. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The borders are honestly imaginary, but we need to manage the flow of people. The flow of people, we want to manage it because we want to know what is the reason that I want to go to Zimbabwe. The border people of Zimbabwe must be able to question me and say, King, what are you going to do in Zimbabwe? No, I'm coming here for holiday purposes. Okay, for how long are you going to be in a holiday, King? No, I'm going to be here for a week. After a week, because they would have punched their thing on the system, they are going to see after a week I'm not back, and then they can start looking for me, or they can just flag me. For every extra day that I'm staying in Zimbabwe without committing a crime, maybe I found a girlfriend there and I stayed 2 weeks after. When I go back to the border trying to come back to South Africa, it's a fine to pay because you overstayed your permit, your visiting permit. How are you going to address the xenophobia attacks in the Black community? And that is what that is what we are trying to do, my brother. We're fixing these things so that there cannot be any xenophobic attack. The xenophobic attack is territorial. It's territorial. And humans are territorial by nature. People don't want people in their space. It's by nature. This does not only happen in South Africa. Xenophobic attacks happen throughout the whole of Africa. You understand? It's just South Africa is good with recording and exposing things that are happening. Other countries, you will not even hear about this thing. You will hear about it, but you will not see footage of it. One central database is the first step. Yes, Lawrence is understanding what I'm trying to say. Lawrence is the, so once we fix these things, Lawrence, we fix the central database. Every every death, and every criminal record is recorded in the central database. So anytime I'm in Zimbabwe, I'm passing, they give me my fingerprint or whatever. So then another thing that most people don't talk about is that if you are born in South Africa, you can go and live in Zimbabwe as long as you want, but if you don't obtain the citizenship of Zimbabwe, you cannot vote in Zimbabwe. You cannot vote in Zimbabwe. A person that comes from Zimbabwe staying in South Africa, because South Africa is still a state on its own, you cannot vote in Zimbabwe. And that is one of the rules that must be made clear. Go back to your home where you come from and go and vote a better government into power. That is something that must be done, because Zimbabweans have lost hope, and they don't care about the political status there, because Mnangagwa does as he pleases there. You understand what I'm saying? So go back and vote for whatever. So we are saying there has to be a constant flow of people going back to their home country and voting, and we can force it with other things also. You understand? Job opportunities, we can also do that and say, but no, there's let's say one country specializes in plumbing. Let's say South Africa works with a lot of plumbers. As a South African born person can't go to Zimbabwe and go and look for a plumbing job. We say, no, but your country specializes in plumbing. I'm just making an hypothetical example. Go back to your country and work there. So there is that free flow of goods also. It's very important that as a Zimbabwean truck driver is not intimidated and his life is taken just because he drove into the South African border, and South Africans see him as a threat. Why are you driving a truck here, and start killing him? That is what we want to stop. You can't stop these xenophobic things and everything if you don't put the laws in place. The laws need to come in place, and the unity of Africa has to be put first. The African agenda has to be put first, so that our African people can be educated and liberated in their minds. You understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? So before there's when you hear a politician say open borders, they don't mean now. They don't mean now. There's a lot of negotiation behind closed doors between countries that are going to say, listen, this is how we should approach the open border, just like Zambia has with Botswana and Malawi, and just sit down and talk about it. How is it going to work, and what advantages? The advantages that you're going to have, when you and like I said, the backbone is a good police force. Once there's no good police force, criminals are going to flow into a country, and those criminals are going to represent the countries they come from badly. So when someone from Lesotho, for example, I had a worker from a domestic worker from Zimbabwe, and she had she was stealing a lot. Let me say it like that. She was stealing a lot, and we could not understand why is this person stealing a lot, to the point where she was stealing even clothes. You understand? Not only food. When someone steals food, you ask yourself, but this person is getting paid the minimum wage, and they are not even working the whole week. They are coming twice a week and still getting their 3.5. But still manage to steal. That person is representing Zimbabweans wrong. Another person will say, I don't want to employ another Zimbabwean anymore because of what that Zimbabwean person did. So that is the problem. Because there is no law and whatever, I fire this one and I employ another one. That that problem that I had, I just passed it over to someone else. You understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? So let me touch quickly on this thing of Cape independence. Cape independence is there as a voice, and as an idea. Like I said, things don't, if you guys understand the power of a word, the power of a word is a seed that is planted in the heads of the people, germinates and grows into an idea and eventually into practice. What the white people are doing in Western Cape is planting the seed. They know that thing is not possible now. They know, but they are preparing themselves. Look what the DA did now. The DA is telling America and US to say, listen, send independent people to come and watch over these elections of South Africa. Discrediting them already before they happen. Cape independence, my foot. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But the seed is planted. Who would ever thought after 1994 that there will be a place in South Africa where only white people are allowed to stay? Who would have thought? And remember, people don't know, Orania is not the oldest place that white people can stay. There's a place in Gauteng called Kleinfontein. Google that. Google it. In Gauteng, there's a farm, actually, it's a farm called Kleinfontein, where only white people stay. It was there before Orania. And there's another place in Limpopo called Fatherland, which is also a big farm that white people bought, and there only white people stay. So the idea of Cape independence is to plant the seed. Make sure you plant the seed, and then you interrogate the conversation behind it. You spark the conversation behind it, and very soon some white people will say, out of their own will, without even knowing that it's that Cape independence that sparked the thing. They will say, I would like to live in an area where there is only white people. And because of our constitution that was drafted in Corteza, the negotiations there, our constitution that is said to be the best in the world, because it did nothing to our colonizers. And Cape Town is very similar to the state of America, Texas. That's what's independent from America. Yes, the same with Texas. Texas, from what I can see with their laws and everything, it makes it very difficult for a black person to penetrate or to live freely there. Especially a black person that can think, a black person that can reason, a black person that can question. They deal with you fast. They deal with you. And remember, there it's different. The white people are the majority population. So as a black person, you are coming in there for trouble, you're asking for trouble. Now in Cape Town, it's a little bit different, because in Cape Town, it's white privilege and black elites. Black elite, especially if we speak about Cape Town, the city, not the townships around Cape Town. In the city, you understand? When they did what do they call it? When they checked the population of the people who stay in the urban area of Cape Town, they found out that white people own 70% of Cape Town. 70%. Then you still have blacks. You have the black elites like your Cyril Ramaphosa and all of them. And then I think the blacks amounted to something like 12, and then the rest shared the 8%. But I have hope in young people like yourself, King. The level of consciousness we see in universities. People are growing, waking up slowly but surely. I'm just a drop. There's nothing actually special about me. I'm just a drop. I would say there's something special about me if And when we managed to open PASETA, the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture, if I can just do that, you can kill me the next day, it's fine. If I can see the grand opening of that school, I can see learners coming in there, and we start planting the Pan-African agendas and thoughts into the younger generation that is coming. For me, that would be a big success. Understand? The YouTube channel can do that, but at a very small scale. YouTube, I'm not sitting face to face with people. And for me, our generation and the older generation is over with. You guys are too colonized in your minds. We are too relaxed in our, someone said, when you know how to buy bread for yourself, you stop praying that our Father give us our daily bread. As you don't pray that God must give you daily bread, because now you think you're doing it with your own power, because you have the job, you have the car, you've got everything. University students worry me though. That tense, it says, we do have a very, let me try to read the comments, guys, as you guys are coming in on the comments. Don't forget to click the like button. I know my channel is full of a lot of haters that are just coming to check what I'm saying here, but my lawyer told me what to say and what not to say. As a smaller YouTube channel, I'm very careful and very picky in what I say, because sometimes my legal advisor tells me that I should not say one or two or three drinks. Like I said, I have given up on our generation. My legal advisor is almost my age, but so scared of white people. Understand? So we do have very, very strong, passionate youth, but a lot of us want things for free. We don't value the hard work uh, and required to be that is required to. Okay, the comment sections are coming. That is required for things. Require things. These things for free. Yes, it's a mentality, my brother. It's a mentality, and part of that mentality is what the ANC has imparted into us. The ANC has said, "Don't worry, if we are in power, we're going to build your house. If we are in power, we're going to give you what you call a grant if you have a child. If we're in power, we're going to that entitlement mentality is built by our country, our government. If our government said, if you want to build a house, it's on you. There's the land, make a plan. You are going to build a bigger house than that 4 room nonsense that they give to our people. But like I said, once you understand that everything in life is a process, you're going to work with the people in the varsities that have got that are looking like they are going the right direction. And like sheep, I'm telling you, the rest of the university is going to gravitate to those people, because black people, they know, they just know inside, deep down, they know it. At the end, black people, we only have each other. We have each other to blame, each other to save, each other to unite. Nobody will save black people but black people. And I keep on telling you every time, because people don't understand, they want unity, they want equality in South Africa and all that rubbish. I'm saying there is no country, a single country. I repeat this every time I'm on a live. There isn't a single country in the world where white people live in peace and harmony with other races. There is no single country in the world that has ever taken its land back, Africa, land back without war, without sanctions, without punishment, without being attacked by its own and the Western countries. There is nothing for free. Once you understand that you're going to start with the Texas is a state, while Cape Town is a province. Cape Town is a province. Well, Cape Town is not a province. It's in a province. I think that's what you wanted to say. So the hard for small province like Western Cape, it breeds outside South Africa. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. how do we integrate the Pan-African education into education curriculum? Thank you so much for that question. Thank you so much for that question. After this, go and after this, write it down somewhere that there's a online school by the name of Pan African Thoughts. Pan African Thoughts. School of Pan African Thoughts. Let me just double check. Was thought of Pan Africanism? Let me just double check for you. School of Pan. Yes, it is. Yeah, School of Pan African Thought. Go and check that one. That school up. Eh? Check. I'm going to be doing one of their courses very soon. I want to learn something there. I think they are doing what Paseta wants to. No, not exactly, but they are teaching some of the things that I want to teach in Paseta. Yes, the name of the school is School of Pan African Thought. Please go and check it out. I think they have a YouTube channel also. Go and check their YouTube channel. Now, coming to the answering of the question, nothing is going to be done without the buying in of government. You understand? Nothing is going to be done without the buying in of government. Government can stop you from building a school. Government can stop you from implementing a curriculum as long as you are black. If you are white, it's not going to. They're not going to bother because our governments don't really run governments. They are administrators. You understand? They are administrators. The Oppenheimer family actually runs the what you call the government. Let me get to this question of Lawrence before as I answer that one. King, what is your thought about land? Do you want to remove whites or you want a state owned or both? Okay, thank you so much very much. So I say if the law is not allowing us to bring a curriculum that is not in South Africa. Let's say you want to preach about African politics. That is the history subject in your history books. You say, this other history that you are teaching, we don't want to teach it. We want to teach African politics or the original the beginning of Africa. You want to teach about Africa in your history, but it's not in the curriculum, meaning your children can't write an exam that is recognized nationally to pass their matric, let's say for their matric. I say you do those things also on the side. You can teach their rubbish history, but let there be a decisive decision you take to teach your children Pan-Africanism at the schools. Understand? You remember there used to be, every time before we start school, there would be a biblical study. What do you call them? There will be someone coming in there reading a Bible for us. That nonsense is gone now. Our children don't read Bibles anymore. And the religion, they have taken God out of the church, out of the schools. So that is how you gradually introduce it, either through extra classes or through Friday and Saturday classes, where children can do it as an extra thing on the side, and then you educate them about the needs of Africa and the topics of Africa, and you just create a certificate like this school I'm telling you about. It actually has a world accredited certificates, and that's why I want to enter them. But the funny thing is that their accreditation is in the UK. So again, I'm asking myself, how are your Pan-Africanist movement, but your accreditation is in the UK? But I'm still going to interrogate their school a little bit more. But I loved what I saw there. Now, when we come to the land issue, I'm one of the few South Africans that have a different view about land. I'm one of the few. In fact, I've met maybe one or two people that agree with me on the land topic in South Africa. I'm not interested in negotiating anything with my colonizer. That is my first point. And sometimes that becomes a weakness because you block dialogue. And I understand my stance. It scares other people, not only white people, but it scares black people, because black people believe that a transaction can happen in a peaceful manner. I don't believe white people will ever hand over their land peacefully. I don't. Yes, yes. Thank you for. Now I'm answering your question. I'm taking my time to try and be diplomatic. But in my diplomatic, I know I'm going to fail and just talk my mind. But anyway, that is how I feel, and I don't want people to think that how I feel is the right way, or how you feel about it is the wrong way. I don't know what approach will be the best. I'm just giving you my point of view. If you come, you rape, you kill, you steal, and then create generational wealth with my land. When it's time for me to take back my land, I don't want to hear anything from you. The same way you came is the same way you will go. Now let's be a little bit merciful. Let's be a little bit merciful. Let's share the land according to the percentage of the population. Meaning, black people who are 80 to 83% of the population in South Africa need to own 80 to 82% of the population of the land. White people who constitute only 7% of South Africa will own only 7% of the land. I will start there. But because I don't want to say pack your bags and go. So I'm saying you can keep your house, but if your house is hectares, I am very sorry, you're not going to own hectares. Why? Because of the population geographic dynamics of South Africa. More black people need more land. That's number one. And that is me being very kind, because for me, if I remember what these people did to us when they had power, I see you guys celebrating the Springboks and when they had power, they did not allow you in the stadiums. When they had power, they did not allow you to have medical aid. You know how Bonitas came about. I saw a nice clip that was there. Listen, Lawrence, the reason I don't favor too much the state-owned topic is because the state-owned is not going to take land away. If I'm a white person and I own a farm, and in that farm I am farming maize. I'm farming maize. When the government takes the land, they're going to take, let's say they take the title deed, but the ownership, and they're going to give me an operational certificate or an operational permit to say, King, because you are farming on this land, we're not taking the land from you, we're just taking the ownership of the land from you. So you can continue to stay in that land, you can continue to farm in that land. For me, it does not change anything. I want my colonizer to feel what I felt. Not directly to me, but how we African people felt. I don't want to harm them. I don't want to do anything to them, but bring back my land. These people took Sarah Bartman and took her overseas and made her a model in the zoo because of her curvy body. This is how heartless the Dutch people were. They're not going to distribute it to you, Lawrence. Lawrence is saying the land, let's say the state owns the land, the state owns the land, and they're going to distribute. They're never going to distribute it to you. They are never going. Listen, I work for the Department of Agriculture, so I've got a little bit of insight when it comes to this. There is a waiting list for people with application for farms. People who are claiming that their forefathers were taken, were pushed out of that land and that land. There is a waiting list, and that waiting list, my brother, is more than 1,000 names. So when the state owns the land, Lawrence, forget about getting a farm. Me and you and a farm, forget. We can love farming as much as we want. We are not going to get a farm from the government. The government, because of the sake of the economy. Remember, the government thinks of the economy. Economy must work. The economy must function. Because of the sake of the economy, they're going to give the land to the people who can produce on it. And those people, I'm telling you, it's not me and you. It might be a few elite black people that already have the machinery, that already have the land, that already has the experience. But if me and you want to start farming today for our 2 generations that are coming, so that when they come on earth, they need to find at least a farm that is 50 years old. You're not going to get land. The land is going to remain in the hands of the white people. It's gonna remain there. Do you think they will take a mine from the open armors and give it to you, or give it to anyone? First of all, you're gonna run that mine to the ground because it's not yours. It's not yours. You did not start it from scratch. You did not build this mine from scratch. So they can say that. They can say, no, the state will own the mine. The state will just put higher taxes on the farms and higher taxes on the mines, and the mines will continue to operate under the current ownership. The mine will always be owned by white people. The state can own the land. I don't know what are they going to do with the land when they don't own the means of production, because the means of production is something different from the land. Understand? So, like I said, if you go to a white person and you say, hello, the state owns your farm now, but we're not chasing you away. You can still stay here and you can still continue to mine sharp. How does that change us Africans' lives? And the question is, I'm asking, how does it advantage our lives? And I know in that policy of state-owned, some black people are going to benefit a lot from it. Maybe even the issue of housing will be better. There will be more areas that will be allocated for residential properties and all of that. Maybe I don't know. But the question is, does that mean that our colonizers will just get away with it? Don't be naughty again. Is that what we are saying? Hey, Africans, we are quick to forgive, eh? We are quick to forgive. That's why Africans are the first one to say, King, how can you say we must speak Kiswahili? I'm Zulu. I'll never speak Kiswahili. But when you say let's speak English, everything is fine. Let's all speak English. They don't say I'm Zulu. They don't say I'm Xhosa. They don't say I'm Pedi when you speak about English. The English one is fine. But when you say Kiswahili, ninojifunza Kiswahili kidogo kidogo, ninotaura Shishona mpichana, nina furaha kukutana na wewe. When you go to the Swahili, No South African is interested, you know. But let's speak English. I speak English, all of us are good. They don't want to start now. You can say, let's start now. Let's teach Kiswahili in grade 1. Grade 1, 2, and 3, and grade 1 up until grade 7. When you get to grade 8, it's fine. You can choose whatever language you want to choose. You want to pick, and you make it Swahili. You introduce it slowly. Make it the third additional language, where children cannot fail. Children cannot. It does not disturb their curriculum. It does not disturb their grades. It's just an additional language that they are learning as small children. So a child from Zimbabwe can speak with a child from South Africa in Kiswahili. For example, it's just an example. It can be Zulu. It can be whatever language that the government chooses. But I'm just saying that is how you grow unity in Africa. You make sure that people speak the same language. Once they speak the same language, you have started the journey of uniting Africa. That is why we say one Africa, one language, one Africa, one land, one Africa, one currency, one Africa, one army. And eventually we will have one Africa with one president. And you hear people asking, how can you say one Africa, one president? Africa is so big. Africa is not that big. When you speak about population, Africa is similar size with India and China. And India and China have got one president, but they've got billions of people in their country. 1.4 billion in China, 1.4 billion in India, 1.3 billion in China, and about 1.5 billion here in Africa. We can have the same impact to the world, but the problem is that we are divided. So our division, now you want to compare South Africa that has 65 million people to China that has 1.4 billion people. Are you normal in your head? That is not going to happen. You can't compare your country with China. China has got 1.4 billion people with one president. There's unity there. Africa has got 1.5 billion people with 54 presidents. The borders galore, there's borders everywhere. People speaking different languages everywhere. There's no unity whatsoever. Who's going to be that African leader that is going to say, but man, Africans, let's start by uniting our own children. If we have failed, it's fine, but let's not fail the coming generation. Let the coming generation learn in one language. We as adults, some things that we can change is one currency. That needs policy from governments. Governments need to unite, sit down and say, listen, we need to get one currency from 2030, all African countries must use one currency, and you work towards that goal. You understand? I hear you, my king. Let me. Do you look at white people and feel different about the different types in the country? Example, I'm not an Afrikaans person. I just speak English and got bullied by the African guys in school. Yes, there is a difference. There is there is a difference between a non-Afrikaans person and just an English-speaking Caucasian man. I think there is a difference. I think Afrikaans-speaking white people have, because their history is strictly engraved in the hate that they had for black people. I think white people that speak only English, they are not as, according to my experience, I don't find them as racist as Afrikaans people. And I meet few of them. I meet few of them. So for me, Afrikaans and the Belgian people, the Dutch and the Belgian people and the French people are the most racist people on planet Earth. They are worse than Americans. They are worse than yeah, United Kingdom people, the British, they are worse. That is just my observation of things. So yeah, yeah, I do look at white people differently. I do, I do. And actually, when I say white people, I should specify, because in the contents of South Africa, when we say white, we actually mean Africans. We actually mean that. I hear you, my king. Let's say you take power and become a president tomorrow. How would you go about nationalizing of everything, mining sector, land, and reserve bank? Process. Gcina is here. Uh, People, things take time. You are not going to nationalize things in a go. Strategies state. If you don't have an example, if you can't make an example and say, look at that country X in Africa, they nationalize their mines, their reserve bank, and their land in one year, and here is the results. If you don't have an example, if you want to be the one that's going to pilot something, you need to be careful on how you do it, because I'm telling you, South Africans are weak. Once you start punishing them, South Africans get sanctions like Zimbabwe, South Africans will turn on the government. They will turn on the government. South Africans are weak. They don't want to struggle. They are very violent, South Africans. Very violent group of people, those ones. And towards each other, not towards other nations, not towards their colonizers. No, their colonizers live freely. No, you would swear these people don't know who took their land. You would swear they don't see who took their land. You would swear they don't see who stay in the farms. But when it comes to the government, South Africans react differently. So I would be careful in the way I would start getting the mining sector, especially because of the contributions it makes on the economy. Because I am the government, I have billions of rand. I will take 1 billion of rand next to the mine that I want to nationalize, build a state-owned mine, and then tell this mine that you are going to help us build this mine, the state-owned mine. Take the workers from there, pay them a better salary, and they work for the state-owned mine. And slowly but surely, start by buying shares on this mine, forcing with law, forcing the owner, the Oppenheimer or the Ackermans family or the Ann Rupert family, forcing them to sell the shares. 50% of the shares of every mine must be state-owned. Understand? So in that 50%, the state will then have influence in decision making on that mine. So they will be able to benefit the communities. But because the mine are owned 100% by our colonizers, they will never fix Marikana. They will never fix a place like Kimberley. You guys know Kimberley produces diamonds like nobody's business. But Kimberley is one of the poorest cities in South Africa. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a process. You don't jump onto it. The land issue, I think I've already explained. Also, a slow process. Build a state-owned farm. Every farm in South Africa must be 50%. Every farm that produces serious money. You understand? If your farm has got a turnover of 5 million and above, that farm must have 50% state shareholders, meaning the state helps you to run that farm, meaning they can employ people, they can fire people. The state helps you to run your farm, and then we give you about 20 to 30 years to buy you out. And now when we talk about 100 years later, South Africans will be saying that the state owns our land, and by owning our land, they will mean the means of production. The Reserve Bank is pure nonsense, that the country does not have power to print its own currency, that the power does not have. They are just killing us, these ones of the Reserve Bank. You understand? I don't understand why is we are allowing. Look at a country like what you call Mozambique. Mozambique owns its Reserve Bank. And once they started owning and printing their own money, their unemployment rate went down. The unemployment rate in Mozambique is like 5 to 10%. In Mozambique, beautiful country, they are owning their resources of production in their country. So that's something that we need to look at. Like I said, you need to get an example and check who has done what I'm trying to do better, and what can I modify and implement to benefit my country. Okay, now the King, I was watching your video about Vuyo Zungula, said hearing your thoughts of how prison cells uh, should be lol. I really could not agree with you on that one. Yes. So Utina, I said, yes. I'm just a radical like that, my brother. You will forgive me. I said I don't want this state of the art prisons that we see. When you walk around, you look at a prison, it looks like a flipping mall, man. That thing, it looks so big. It looks beautiful from outside. I said a prison cell should be, if you are 2 meters long, a prison cell should be 1,8 meters. If you're 2 meters long, nobody's 2 meters. That's my younger brother. I'm making an example. So every time you go into a prison cell, you should bend down to get in the cell. You should not be able to stand up straight. The only thing you should be able to do is sit down. That's the only time you will stretch your bed. And your bed should be a shorter length than you. If you are this tall, your bed should be this tall. So your legs must be always hanging over the tip of the bed. You should not be sleeping comfortably in bed, and it should just be a concrete bed. You understand what I'm saying? That is going to rehabilitate prisoners. And then it should go according to the crime that you committed. Obviously, maybe let's say it's a theft, a crime that you did, and you stole food at the ShopRite, one of the in the ShopRite shop. The prison should be a little bit better, a little bit. The cell should be a little bit bigger. But when you get out of that prison, you're in your heart, you must say, I will never go back to that prison again. I've seen people who killed people and getting arrested again. The way they walk, even in court, the way they stand, because our prisons are 5-star hotels. Our prisons, you can buy a bed, a single bed, and put it a mattress, a soft one, and put it in prison. It's out. You can have a cell phone in prison. You can have a laptop in prison. You can have a TV in prison. In your cell, you can have a locker room, your locker cupboard where you put your sweets and your snacks in prison in South Africa. Pure rubbish. We are not committed in changing the crimes stats of South Africa if we're doing that. For me, a prison room will look like a cage for a dog made out of cement. Why are we giving you a blanket? What is the blanket for? Are you going to die if you sleep without a blanket? Yes, it's cold. Yes, it's cold. Are you going to die if you sleep without a blanket? Free food, everything. Man, your cousin can visit you and bring you KFC in prison. Your cousin can visit you every day. There's visiting hours. Your family can bring you a warmer jacket. You can wear a warm jacket. You can wear nice shoes in prison. No. And I know, of course, like I said, I'm just too radical like that. Other people will not agree, so yeah. I don't know. I've never been to prison, but from I've visited a lot of people in prison, and I did not see a worry in their eyes, because where they were going back into, especially if you've got protection and you've got money, you don't worry about anything. Just imagine they even getting free education and qualification. It's in prison. The lady, don't laugh, don't laugh. I want people to suffer in prison. I want people to suffer in prison. Why must you get a blanket in prison? Why? Why? What do you need a pillow for? Sleep on your hand, man. You can sleep on your hand. You can sleep on your hand on the cement. You're not going to die. Probably gonna get flu and get arthritis and all of that, but you're not gonna die. And if you die, oh well. Oh well. You know, do you know Kulaks? No, I don't know who that is. No, I don't know who that is. We have such a small part of population paying tax. This money is barely helping our country to run. How does the country even begin to get better with a small pool of money? Yeah, but listen to this, my brother, because now I know you are white. Your people, and I'm not saying you personally, the white people of this country treated Africans like dogs for more than 300 years, historically disadvantaging them for more than 300 years. Today, you've got black people. Most black people are not educated compared to white people when it comes to the population. So now, just because in 1994 you gave us democracy, artificial democracy, what did you think is going to change? Do you think the racism was going to change? Do you think the mentality of black people was going to change? If I was a criminal in 1993, do you think I'll be an academia in 1994? Nothing changes. So now the seeds that white people have planted, you know, in black people, they are coming out now, and white people are like, no, but we have got a small people of people paying tax, and most of them are white. How are we going to survive? But you planted this seed. In the township, there was no one coming and collecting waste. Your dustbin. In the township, we were burning our waste. After 1 week, every weekend, we've got a small corner in our yard where we burn our waste. Today, I'm no longer burning. Remember, I grew up seeing our parents burning waste and all that, because in the township, waste is not collected. There's a corner where we dump our things. We don't care if it's someone's house, because that's how black people were segregated. Today, you see them moving to towns and they do the same thing, and you are surprised, saying, why are these people not taking care of this town? But that is how you white people breeded, you trained black people to act like that, and now today you are complaining because they are staying in your neighborhood. Do you understand the logic of that? So I hope I answered your question when it comes to that. So after 23 years sanctions, will my spine be able to let me work again? And because my spine does not allow me to work, how am I going to survive after coming out? Oh, you're speaking about the prison, not even a blanket, man. Listen, you should have thought about your spine cleaner before committing that crime. Remember, let's say hypothetically you rape someone's daughter. You should have thought about your stupid spine before going to rape that poor child. Like I said, I will be merciful to other people that did not commit serious crime. If you stole a radio of a car, if you stole someone's pen at school or someone's bag, food, you stole. But once you start committing serious crime, your spine will be finished, my brother. Finished. And I will be merciful that at prison we will give you 30 minutes in 24 hours to stretch your back. So every time after every 24 hours, maybe at 1 o'clock to 1:30, you'll be able to come out and just, and I'm sure your spine is going to say, you stretch that spine 30 minutes, you just, just jump up, maybe exercise a little bit. But you won't need to exercise because you won't gain any weight. We'll give you 1 meal a day if you're lucky. And then after that, we put you back in your beautiful spine cell. I think we can call it the spine cell because it will finish the spine. You will not be able to stand up in a cell. You will not be able to stand up. If you are this tall, we're gonna make sure that every time you bend your head, getting in that cell, and you sleep like a dog in the what you call on top of your beautiful cement bed with no blanket. Don't need a blanket. People, let me hear. Problem is the wealth is in the hands of the small elite, and the ones at the bottom keep uh, cheering, sharing. I think we have never really decolonized nor compensated, but okay, be it psychologically or even financially. That's the problem. That's the problem I'm talking about. Decolonization never happened. And again, decolonization is not going to happen in 30 years. It needs a proper super government to do that. But with the current government we're having, it's going to take us 300 billion years to decolonize the mind first, psychology, to be decolonized psychologically first. And talking about decolonizing psychologically, it's understanding the history of your country, understanding who colonized you, how they colonize you, when they colonize you, and the effects of colonization. You can't say you're decolonizing when you don't understand those things. But for real, man, we are laughing here, but radical measures sometimes tend to work. Look at Saudi Arabia, Dubai, etc. The extreme punishments are working. Yes, they are working. They are working. You don't even have to go that far. Go to Zimbabwe. Have you ever seen a Zimbabwean person getting arrested? How they cry, getting in the van, how they are weeping in the courts. A Zimbabwean brother crying his heart out because he knows that prison, they don't even give you clothes in that prison. They don't give you an overall. They give you nothing. They don't spend a cent on you. They just give you the walls. People are sleeping in a small cell. Like I saw one small cell having like 82 people sleeping like crisscrossing, sleeping on top of each other. The other head is that side. The other leg is that side. Sleeping on the concrete floor. You are lucky if you get a blanket in Zimbabwe. The Zimbabwean people, they don't want. For me, if I was homeless and I was coming from Zimbabwe and I was hungry, committing a crime in South Africa and being arrested in South Africa would be a pleasure. That's like going to a holiday. That's like going to a holiday. Who fears the prison systems of South Africa? Huh? Did you guys hear how Oscar Pistorius, how nice he lived in prison? Oscar Pistorius. What's that guy? Sabir Sheikh. What is that guy's name? These people live a luxury life in prison. Luxury life in prison. Our prison even have clinics. Yeah? They've got people that give you your pills. You can get your pills, your medication on time in prison. My goodness. Would South Africa be safer with legalization of death sentence to extreme crimes? Actually, you're asking me another question here. Would South Africa be safer with the legalization of the death sentence for extreme crime? Oh my God, that's a difficult question. That's a difficult question. I don't want to kill someone. I want someone to wish for death upon themselves. And the extreme cells that I'm talking about, the small cells that look like cages of dogs, will make a man wish that he could have got a death sentence instead. You make a person wish. I saw a movie line. I can't remember what movie it was. And this person said, when I catch you, I will not kill you, but you will wish I did. So with that being said, I would make prison feel like death to the point that you die, not to hang you. I'm not going to turn into the barbarian that my colonizers was, because when you say hang, for me it's a different nerve, because the brother Solomon Matangu, I know his family. Our brother who was hanged at the age of 21. And at the age of 21, when they hanged Solomon Matangu, they took his, they make you wear a they make you wear a cloth over your head. And they took his cloth out. And they said, Solomon, for the crimes that you've committed, the Republic of South Africa has sentenced you to death in a way of hanging. Do you have your last words? And Solomon said, you guys know the famous words that Solomon said. At the age of 21, Solomon said, tell my people that my blood will nourish the tree that will bear fruit to the freedom of this country. Oh my goodness. Then he said, Aluta continue. Aluta continue was the last word Solomon said. And they hanged a 21-year-old boy for a crime he did not commit. So for me, I don't want to take power back only to become like my colonizer. I don't want to do that. But I will make you feel like you want to die. Prison will be that much of like if you rape someone, or you kill someone with an axe and you cut their private parts and whatever, I'm telling you, you're gonna get a box size prison. To get in there, we'll have to push you in. You won't even fit in that box. You won't even fit. We will not hang you, but you won't even have space to wiggle around in that cell. And it will be concrete. It will not be steel. It will be pure concrete that you can't even push around. The only steel that will be there is through your there where we put you in. So for me, I don't want to kill someone. I'm a religious person, so I want them to die on their own, so that I can tell God that it's not me. At least we put him in the cell, and he decided he wanted to die. And he must not even have an opportunity to hang himself. No opportunity. I'm telling you, when we take you out for that 30 minutes to stretch your body, it should take you 20 minutes to be able to stand up straight. The way it's painful just to stretch your bones back into position. It should take, and the thought to think that you are going back in that cell should make you wish for death. And we will not give you that death. So death penalty, no, not for me. Another person will do it. I will not endorse it or support it, but I understand. They always say the only people who don't support the death penalty is people who has never suffered, who has never seen their loved ones suffer a serious crime, you know. So yeah, because we are not there yet. We don't know. We don't know how people feel with their little daughter who's in primary school, who was sold for multi rituals, the body parts cut, and you find a person that cut the body of your children and all of that. I mean, it's crazy. The West would be looking for you for human rights. Uh, yeah, that's why I'm not in politics. I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just a content creator. I just speak about ideas. So for me, that's why I'm not in politics. I'm not interested in politics. I will never be in politics. I will never be in politics. I see politicians as wicked people. I see them as wicked people who are always lying and all of that. So yeah, for me, that's about it. Yeah, guys, we have spoken enough today. I've really enjoyed my talk with you guys today. I hope when someone speaks about the open border, this man should be our president. No, 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 not me. I can't be. I can't be. Not the president of the school. Yes, the Paseta School, the Pan African School of Economics, Technology, and Agriculture. Yes. But I hope on what I said today, you guys have got a better understanding on what open border policy means. You understand? We don't mean that open everything up, let everyone flow in, let every criminal come, let every rubbish just come in our country and do as they please. No, we don't mean that. We come to say, listen, the Berlin Conference in 1884 and 1885, from November 1884 to February 1885. It's where the Europeans and the Americans sat down and cut Africa into the pieces that it has right now. They gave the west of Africa to French. They gave the middle of Africa to Belgium. They gave some parts of the west to the British. They gave the south of Africa to the Portuguese and what you call the British, and they gave the SADC of Africa, the south tip of Africa, to the Dutch people. So when you think about that, you know that these borders actually don't come from us. But the way we can use those borders and the pain that those people caused on us to our advantage to unite with our African brothers. What about the Pakistanis and Bangladeshis? Are they African brothers? They don't get treated the same. They don't identify as African. Remember when me and you say African, we mean black. When other people say African, they mean born in Africa. You understand? So for me, when I meet a person from Morocco, for example, a person from Liberia, a person from Somali is in South Africa in Africa for those who don't know, because some of you don't think that Somali is in Africa. Um, you They don't get treated the same like us black people. You understand? They don't get treated the same as us black people. Yes, they are Africans, but they are not black Africans, if you understand what I'm saying. We as black people are treated as the lowest class of human beings. Black people are the lowest. It starts from the Caucasian people, and up you get your Asian people, then you get your Indian people, then you get your Arab people, and the Jews there, everyone there. Up the last people at the bottom are Africans. We are at the bottom the food chain of humankind. So as much as they are African brothers and sisters, when I speak about Pan-Africanism, I don't include them. For me, I might be wrong. I might be wrong in my analogy of that, but for me, they don't get treated the same as us. They don't get treated, even by us, we treat them differently. Understand? We call them my friend, we call them my brother. We don't do that to other people. They can have 4-7 shops in one street. You know, they are infiltrating even the suburbs. They are even infiltrating even the towns. They're having multiple shops in one street owned by the same group of friends, and nobody has a problem. But if a black person opens similar shops in one street, black people will have a problem with that. For me, I don't consider them as black Africans. Just like when we had that talk about Dricus du Plessis, who won the UFC middleweight championship, and they said Dricus du Plessis is the 4th African to win a champion. You know, it was Francis Ngannou in the UFC. I'm talking about UFC now, mixed martial art. And Francis Ngannou, Kamaru Usman. Francis is from Ivory Coast. Kamaru Usman is from Ghana. Nigeria. Israel Andesana is from Nigeria also, and from South Africa. The first South African to win a UFC title was Dricus du Plessis. And I said, Dricus is not an African. We can never call Dricus an African. Dricus is a Dutch African. He's Afrikaner, so his roots are from the Dutch. Whether he's born here or not doesn't matter. If I take my wife and I go to China and we have a child in China, are they going to call my black child Chinese? Huh? Even if I take my child and go to America and I give birth, my wife gives birth in America, they don't call my children Americans. They call them African American. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I was saying Dricus did a good thing, a good fighter, won the title, but don't give him the title of African. He's not an African. He knows he's not an African. He can call himself African as much as he wants, but he knows he's not an African. And the problem with the Dutch people is that they have stayed so long in South Africa that they don't know any other home besides this land that they colonize us in. So yes, my African people and my other visitors who are not African, thank you so much for tuning in today. I think I've tried to explain this thing of the open border policy and how it can work if it's done properly. But in terms of just saying let's open the borders and do whatever we want, it's not going to work. It's not going to work like that. But we need to make sure that we do it the right way. If you apply for citizenship, you are then a citizen. Yeah. A citizen of what? They're going to, even if I apply for citizenship in what you call in China, they are still going to call me a black Chinese, an African Chinese. I mean, they will always say African to me. They will always say African, and Chinese are just as racist as the Europeans. Just as racist as the Europeans. Don't think they are special. They are not special, those Chinese people. Just as racist, if not more, than the Europeans. Very racist Chinese. They are not very receptive to Africans. Understand? So for me, citizenship does not make you from that land. You know what I'm saying? So what are you saying? If I go to Zimbabwe, stay there a few years, and then get a citizen of Zimbabwe, I'll be Zimbabwean. Come on. Yeah, Europeans, yeah, all Europeans are racist. Which part of Europea is not racist? Towards black people, by the way. There is no country, I repeat, in the world where white people live in harmony with other people, especially with black people. There isn't a single country in the world. Ireland, Ireland, we had a situation where there was a gymnastic competition, and the lady who was giving the medals to the children skipped one black child in Ireland. Don't tell me about Ireland, man. Come on. There was one, you know, that famous case. I think it was last year. It happened last year, and there was children that won medals, and then one of the instructors gave medals to each child. When they got to the black child, they skipped the black child and gave it to the other to the other children. She apologized and lost her job because of that from Ireland. So I don't buy that thing. There isn't a single country in the world where black people are not treated like low class. So Ireland, uh, 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 yeah, she skipped that child very deliberately, and then turned around and said she did not see that child, a pitch black child, in the middle of all those white pale children that were standing there. You could not see the pitch black child that was standing there. That was the situation that happened in Ireland, and that is the one situation that happened on camera. Just imagine what is happening behind the cameras. There is no country in the world where white people are living in peace and harmony with other races, especially the black race, especially us. So that's why I say to my African brothers and sisters, if we continue to fight each other, that makes our colonizers happy, because we are all that we have. We must love each other. We must protect each other. I don't care where you are. You are in Ireland, you are in France, you are in wherever country. If you see a black person there, greet them, hug them. I don't care if that person is from Senegal and you are from Zimbabwe. I mean, it's so far from each other. But just say, my brother, I got you. I got you, my African brother. You know, just greet them and learn their language, learn how to say hello in their language, how to say see you again, and exchange their numbers. We as Africans need to unite. You know, we must stop seeking love and acceptance from other races before we do it to ourselves. Let's love each other first. Let's protect each other first. You know, when Floyd George was killed by that white police in America with a knee. You remember that guy George Floyd, who was killed by a white policeman putting a knee on him to a point where he suffocated and died. If all African countries said to the United States, "You are no longer going to trade with us because of that death of that one African man," the police in the United States would not kill a single black person again. But because we as Africans, we are not united, they are free to kill our African brothers and sisters each and every month. Remember, they are in the minority when it comes to population. But when it comes to the death, the numbers are crazy. Because there's no African country that our black African brothers can cry to in America. It happens in Europe. It happens in Europe, where in the UK, where our African brothers are mistreated for no reason. You can get shot with your hands up, suddenly they say, "Keep your hands up, keep your hands up." You put your hands up and they shoot you dead, and they still continue to work. That is how we are treated as Africans. You know, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It will change, because the fear of white people has always been that we will do to them what they did to us. You know, in Canada too. Don't think, "Oh, Canada is worse. Canada is worse. Canada is worse." And Canada are employing a lot of a lot of African people, because nobody wants to work in Canada with the terrible weather of theirs, the snow of theirs, pure rubbish in Canada, pure racist in Canada. But that should not be our focus as Africans. Our focus as Africans should be African unity, Pan-Africanism. To say every time I see an African brother, I'm protecting that African brother. I'm making sure I'm showing support to that African brother. So we don't have to focus on what they did to us or what they're doing to us. Let's unite us as Africans. And of course, you see the other one is saying very negative. But once you start speaking like this around white people, they get very uncomfortable. They get very uncomfortable, because one thing that what white people and Caucasian people, wherever they are from in any country, one thing they cannot say is, we are sorry for what our ancestors did to your ancestors, because that is the pain that we continue to carry. That is the pain that we continue to carry. I experienced racism in the healthcare education on work in Canada. Of course, I've seen some videos. There's a lot of YouTubers on making content about Canada, and almost all of them say, "Don't come to this country." Almost all of them say, "Do not come to Canada. I came here, now I'm stuck here. Everything is expensive here. Don't come to this country." But that is how we Africans are forced to go and seek better opportunities in other countries. It's very painful for African brothers and sisters to be there, and any country. You can say Canada is worse. Go to the UK, you're gonna experience the same thing. Go to Germany, you're gonna experience the same thing. Go to Italy, you're gonna experience the same thing. West Germany and Italy, wherever. Go anywhere. Go to the Irish. Go wherever. As a black person, you already born a crime. As a black person, you already born a filthy monkey thing. So imagine with all of that, the way our white people look at us, and then you meet another black person who does not receive you with love. Because we as black people, we Ubuntu is in us. We love each other. That's why our colonizers came for the first time here. We were not fighting them. We were welcoming them. It is them that decided they come in a military way and started fighting us, and fighting in 1654, and the Khoisan people, the Khoi and the San people. And I always tell you people, the Khoi, the San, and the Nama people is not one person. Stop saying the Khoi San people. The Khoi and the San is two groups of people. And stop saying the word pride. You don't belong to a Zulu tribe. A tribe is three groups of how can I put it? Three groups of nations. Three nations coming together: the Zulu nation, the Pedi nation, and the Tswana nation. The three of them, you call them a tribe. It's a tribe. Three is a tribe. One is not a tribe. The name is just escaped me now. Let me just read your final comments here. My brother is also still commenting here. The world does not care about African, though apartheid ended due to sanctions and the hard fight black people fought. Russians helped a lot of people care and fought for black people to be free. I'm not disagreeing with that with you. And here you come, you say, I cannot apologize for crimes I did not commit. To ask for an apology from someone who did you who did you know wrong, is very arrogant. Yes. Uh, and that is how oblivious white people are to the impact of apartheid. That is how. Do you think I'm speaking English because I want to? Do you know that the first black people that spoke English were beaten into submission? Do you know that African people carry European names because they were beaten to submission? You as a white person, because of the skin color, wherever you walk, any building you walk into, whether it's a hospital, prison, police station, wherever, because of the skin color that you have, you get what we call white privilege. Because of the skin color I have, I get what I call hate everywhere in the world, not in South Africa alone, everywhere in the world. So I say this, and listen to me, my brother, because I want to speak to you so that you can give me an answer on that one. And I thank you for your comment, because as a Pan-Africanist, it's my job to try and educate you and educate everyone who's listening. So let's make an example. Here's my grandfather, who's got 3 wives, because as Africans we believe in multiple wives. My grandfather has got 3 wives. Those with those 3 wives, it's got let's say 3 children each, 369 children, and he's got a truck, and he's got some few cattle, and he's got a van, a buggy. If you're in South Africa, you know that what a buggy is. And your grandfather, who is white, comes into the land of my grandfather. Okay? He kills my grandfather. He rapes one of his wives, starting another race we call coloreds. He chases them away from their land. Your grandfather chases my grandfather away. He takes the cattle that my grandfather had. He starts farming with those cattle, multiplying those cattle. And then from my grandfather's children start working for your grandfather. And then he not only chased them away from their land, but he changes their names. He makes them call themselves Peter. He makes them call themselves John, because your grandfather could not pronounce our African names. Your grandfather then takes the wealth that he created from my grandfather's land, takes your father to school and education, and gives him and hand over the farm that he took from my grandfather. You know, he hands it over to your father. And then my grandfather's children give birth to my father. My father is now born in a land, a deserted land. No home, no house, no father, because my grandfather was murdered by your grandfather. Time goes by, and then our fathers give birth to us. Now I am born poor because of what your grandfather did. You are born rich because of the advantages that your grandfather did for you. Now I come to you, I tell you and say, you are rich because of what your grandfather did to us. Instead of being sympathetic, instead of having empathy, you say, like a white person, a normal white person would say, I did not commit those crimes, so why would you want an apology from me? Do you think that it's a human way to respond to someone who has suffered, 3 generations has suffered because of your grandparents? Because of your grandparents, my grandparents suffered. Because of your parents, my parents suffered. Now we are the third generation. And I'm speaking to you as a brother who's in my age group. And I say, I am in a disadvantage because of what your grandfather said. And the only thing you can say as a white person is, I did not do it to you personally, so I don't need to apologize. Do you understand why there is that return, why we then hate white people? Because I believe if you said, listen, I'm sorry for what my grandparents did to your grandparents. I think and I believe that what they did to your grandparents was wrong. I don't know how we can reconcile to live in peace with each other, because that apology never came from the white people. That is why there will never be peace between black and white. And that is why white people will always live in fear, thinking that black people want revenge, because they know what they did was inhumane. You understand what I'm saying to you? I appreciate that you are saying what you are saying on the comment section, but I'm telling you how it's received from a black person. And we must be able to speak these things. We must be able to speak these things. I'm here. I'm willing to work with the fellow South Africans to make things better. Yeah, but I just told you that you should change your mentality. I'm late in Kosi. You are very late in Kosi. Yo, we spoke a lot today. I spoke actually for 2 hours. I should be done. Is the arrogance deny the effect of your ancestors' actions? Kuluma isiZulu. All South Africans. Yeah, no, ngasikhuluma isiZulu vele ngempela. Noma isiZulu asilimi lami. Mina Mtsonga, nobulabula Shangane, and I'm Pedi, ngibulala Sepedi. But ngikhuluma isiNgisi ukuthi bangizwe nabo laba, because ngempela silwa nabo. And enkulumeni yethu okuningi kumele sikulungise nabo, because sisahlala nabo, and ama-politician wethu ayabasaba labantu, bayabasaba, abafuna ukubaxosha labantu, bayabasaba. And abasabi bona qho, basaba ne-America, basaba ne-Europe, basaba ukuthi bazosenzani masingaxosha labantu. So ngalokho-ke, that is why we speak into them. It is sad to see a party like Rise Mzansi being used. Rise Mzansi is a waste of space. I acknowledge it. It's part of our history. Looking for an apology is not going to fix anything. Yeah, not gonna fix anything now. Will never change. I'm here. I want to make this country better. We don't want to make the country better. If you say the country, the history is there, so what? If my child rapes your child and you are crying, and that rape happened 20 years ago, and I say, man, get over it, man. Get over it. It happened 20 years ago. What? Let's look for things to make things better now. You know, the oppressor always acts like you, man. And I'm happy that black people are here to see the mentality of white people. And that is why I'm telling you, my African brothers and sisters, when I say I'm patriotic to Africans, this is exactly that. That is when you guys ask me about land, the first thing I said is that I don't debate. I don't debate with my colonizers. When I take land, I take land. I don't want any debate, because number one, they are not apologetic about what happened to the history of South Africa. They don't care. They want a better South Africa for themselves, not a better South African for black people. They don't want to share the land that they stole. They don't want to share the wealth that they stole. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't want to speak to such people. You know, I'm happy that you Africans can see how these people respond. And to ask myself, which bafuna like you want to You might make a better comments on YouTube than it's you don't comment. Yeah, I think you must just revert to just listening and not comment. They're benefiting from it. Abasa, Abasisabi, they are benefiting from. Yeah. What do you think of the idea of having one African language? That is what my channel preaches. Every time you watch my channel, the intro of my channel says one Africa, the lion and the mouse. Yes, I don't know what did you name the lion and the mouse. Um, my channel preaches one Africa, one language, one Africa, one currency, one Africa, one land, one Africa, one army, and one Africa, eventually one president. It's a big process. Uh, it's a big process because you speaking a language. That's why I went into. If you go to my channel, you'll go and see there's a playlist I made called named the Monday Kiswahili Day. So Mondays I used to teach Kiswahili on this channel. On this channel, you can guys can go. I think I've got 6 episodes or something like that. I am going to continue next month. I'm very busy, but I am going to continue next month to do what you call more teaching on Kiswahili because I believe Kiswahili is an advanced language more than most African languages. You know, Kiswahili you can study from Kiswahili from grade 1 up to university level, so it's a very advanced language. So yes, what do you say? Okay, it's very diverse. I don't disagree with you, but it's my first time to watch you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Oh, yes, it's the first time here. Welcome, my brother. Welcome, my brother or sister. It's a cool podcast, Kings. So yeah, no, we hear all the time. Same here, Lion. Oh, it's the first time you guys are here. I'm happy that YouTube is spreading me to new geographic type of people. Oh, really? That's great. Ah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So in this, for those who are tuning in now, we've been talking. I've been talking for 2 hours. My goodness, no, guys. I still need to do some work about the IFP and what you call sister. Okay, sister. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, my sister. I don't know because your name is the lion and the mouse, so that's a nice name for a YouTube channel. So a person will never know. You'll never know in YouTube. And also with this nonsense of Africans adopting the LGBTQ movement, people might be offended by you calling them he or she or whatever. Which party are you voting for? Why, my good sir? Which party am I voting for? It's probably gonna be the EFF. They are more close to um, my view of Africa because my view has always been an African view. Like I am patriotic towards Africans wherever they are in the world. So I don't want a political party that speaks about closing Zimbabweans out, chasing Nigerians out, killing Lesothans, and keeping Botswanans out and all that. For me, I don't have time for that type of hate because, like I said, Africans have been hated on by other nations for many years. So why is it that we must continue the hate on one another? And that said, I do acknowledge that yes, other people come to our country, especially South Africa, and then they commit crime, and in doing so, they misrepresent our African brothers from other countries. And then when you see one Nigerian selling drugs, then you automatically link drugs to Nigerians, of which is true. Some of them do sell drugs, but the Nigerians I'm around with here in South Africa are one of the most nicest people I have ever met in my life. They don't do any drugs, they don't smoke or drink themselves. But anyway, you know, it's very, yeah. So the EFF MK, that's the parties I would vote for. Where are you from? South Africa. I see. Gold. Yes, you know, in South Africa we've got a lot of gold, so you must have gold on your teeth, on your legs, on your everywhere, on your clothes, everywhere. Once upon a time, South Africa used to supply 80% of the world gold revenue used to come from gold reserve used to come from South Africa. Once upon a time, 80% of the world gold was coming from this one country. You know, so yes, South Africans love gold. So I was also one of those teenagers that got into those trends of putting gold in the I will take it out sometime. No more ANC, vote EFF. Thank you, brother. Yeah, no, definitely no more ANC. They closed EFF, but they are still politicians. Yeah, I agree with you. It's, they, they are the better devil, if I can say that. EFF for me is the better devil. I would rather deal with the EFF than deal with the ANC. My issue with the EFF is that when they don't agree with you, they turn violent. We see what they're doing in Parliament. We see what they're doing even outside Parliament. How the EFF behaves. So for me, if you say you've got superior logic, you don't need to fight. You see, I'm a professional boxer myself. You guys can check me out, Kagiso Fawani. See some of my fights. Um, Violence is the last um, action I take. And I think boxing has taught me that. Before boxing, I was a very violent person. Everything that was happening, I wanted to respond in a violent way. But when I got into the sport of boxing, it taught me self-discipline. And I understood what my father said when he was still alive. My father used to tell me that, my son, do not start a fight. But if anyone starts a fight with you, finish the fight. And he said that to me when I was in a racist primary school by the name of Lar School Alma in Limpopo. And we were facing a lot of racist attacks from our students. And I was new in that school, boarding school. So I was fighting almost every week. And my father said, don't start any fights with anyone. But if anyone starts a fight with you, finish. But when I grew up to become a man, I then realized that the people who actually do physical content are the weakest. Because now I'm in boxing, I understand what type of harm I can do with my hands and how easy it is to kill someone with your hands, and worse with a weapon in your hands and all of that. So I don't like how the EFF acts in parliament, because um, other people will look at that and think that is an appropriate way to react when you don't disagree to. Just imagine in your relationship you disagree with your parents, your partner, or whoever, and they start throwing things around it. For me, it shows that you are not matured, and it's ironic because the EFF has got so many educated people in the EFF. I believe the EFF is the most educated political party in South Africa right now. You know, they are not led by losers like the DA, who's led by someone with a matric. The EFF has got degrees, MBAs, honors, masters, and law degrees. So I don't understand why they behave like that. EFF, so the anti-white party. Yes, yeah, we are the anti-white party. Correct. Yes, I'm part of the anti-white party. I don't know why you say anti-white, because we are the pro-black parties. So yes, I'm scared of DA. Give me apartheid vibes. Just imagine being ruled by white people again. It's not gonna happen in South Africa. Don't worry about it. Um, You know Jacqueline? No, I don't know who that is. We still, guys, I want to sleep. Not sleep, I want to go record more videos, guys. Can we stop with the comments? We are still on the biggest gold provider worldwide. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know we still the biggest gold. I thought Mali was the biggest now. I feel like South Africa has a racial experience compared to other African countries. I feel like no. I don't think South Africans are the worst when it comes to race. I think Black South Africans have come a long way in development and in terms of technology, in terms of recording it and what you call and exposing racism. Other countries, they are still a little bit behind. You won't hear so many cases about racism in what you call in Zimbabwe, in Namibia. You might hear some things there. In Kenya, in the DRC, it's different because we were colonized by different people. They were not colonized by the Dutch. Yeah, those people are evil. Boxing really. Yes. I'm a boxer really. Just type Kafiso from one and you will see me. You will see you will see me. Guys, I need to sleep. A degree is not a guarantee of intelligence. Very true. Very true. And it's clear. It's clear, Emmanuel, what you're saying, because of how the EFF acts. But when it comes to the policies and what the EFF stands for, I'm leaning more to them because anyway, we can't vote for the ANC anymore. I can't vote for the Oppenheimer puppet like Cyril Ramaphosa anymore. I'm sick and tired of that man. I'm sick and tired. I'm a Jacob Zuma guy actually, but I don't think Jacob Zuma has got the correct vehicle in MK to take South Africa forward. I think in MK he's the only person credible to run a country. And I love Jacob Zuma because white people hate him, and I know white people don't hate people for free. When white people hate you, it means you are doing something right for black people. Understand what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, what are these white people doing on my comment section? What is this Herald saying? It does not it does sadden me to see people with a negative type of mindset that you have, but you have the right to believe in what you choose. Your mindset is a big part of problem rather than the solution. I think you, Gerald, you just came in now in the chat. Fred Oliver or Olivier, any who spreek mention funny, maar ek dink is Olivier. So jy net nou in gekom. And you Afrikaans people expect to kill, steal from us, rape us, and do everything from us. And when we react in anger, you say, why are you so negative? Why so? What were you expecting how do you expect black people to act after the in slavery in their own land? We are not unlike Americans that were taken to America and got enslaved there. We were enslaved in our own land. So you expect us to make a welcoming party for you white people? You expect us to be happy with you? Huh? And like I was debating with this other white person here who said he does not even want to apologize for what his great parents did to our great parents. So why must we conversate with people like you? What do you people want on this comment on this YouTube channel? It's a YouTube channel for Pan-Africans. We are here to develop love for black people, to develop unity for black people. It has nothing to do with white people. Why are you guys here? You know, why are you guys here? Go to other channels. Go to an AfriForum YouTube page. There's a lot of stand out black boys that you guys can go and support. Go and support them. There's nothing that you can say on my channel that is going to make me change how I feel about what your great-grandparents did to our great-grandparents. There's nothing like that. And we cannot forgive people that never ask for forgiveness. We cannot. Why must we forgive you? Why must we continue to let you have land? Why must we continue to let you live in South Africa? Why? What is the reason? What do we gain from it? Huh? You are not sympathetic, you are not apologetic, but you want South Africa to be better. How can it be better with what your people have done to my people? How are we going to fix the issue that 80% of the population of South Africa owns less than 10% of the land? And 7% of the population in South Africa owns 75% of the land in South Africa. How are we going to fix that? How are we going to fix that 7% of the population of South Africa owns the minerals of our land? How are we going to fix the issue that 90% of the commercial farmers that are in South Africa are all white? How are we going to fix it? But you expect us to have a positive energy towards you. You can go to hell, man. You can go to hell. You are not sympathetic. You are not apologetic. You don't want to unite with us. You don't want to work with us. You want to work with us as long as we don't touch your land. You want to work with us as long as we don't bother you. So why must we work with you? How is working with you going to benefit us in any way, shape, or form? How is working with you going to benefit black people? I don't want to work with you. I just want what belongs to me. That's what I want. So I don't care what white people say on the comment section. It makes no difference to me. It does not change the quality of my life. Asante san. Oh, thank you so much. Someone knows Kiswahili at least here. Thank you so much. Why is it so hard for black people to unite? It's because of this rubbish that is on our comment section. The reason why it is hard for black people to unite is because the system of the white people is continuously still working till today. The system of the system of divide and conquer is still working till today. They know they have captured us on the necks. There is some black people who say, let's forget about history, divide and conquer. So when a person like me comes and they say, we need our land back, other black people say, no, we don't need our land back. When a black person like me comes out and says, we need to unite as Africans and speak one language, other black people say, we don't want to speak one language. But they will gladly speak English, their colonizers' language. And ukhona omunye wena ubhalile la e-conversation athi KG khuluma isiZulu my king. Khuluma isiZulu uphume kulabantu laba. Awani. Khuluma isiZulu uphume kulabantu laba. I hear you. I would not be able to understand, but God be with us all. God be with us all. Why are you saying God be with us all? Harold, when you guys had the Bible, you killed and raped us. When you guys had the Bible, you took our land. When you guys had the Bible, you hanged us with the Bible scriptures, you were hanging us. When you guys had the Bible, you took Sarah Parkman and took her to Europe and made her walk around and displaying her naked. You treated us like monkeys. Then when you give the Bible, you say, I must treat you in the love of God. Is that what we must do? Do you think we are stupid? Do you think we are stupid? Huh? The way your people treated our people, you want to come around and tell me that God will be with us all. God has never been with us Africans. God has given us the brain. In fact, we Africans, we are the gods. Your people made our people to forget their identity. You stole the religions from our land. Islam and Christianity are originally from Africa. White people are not sympathetic, are not apologetic to what they did to us. That is why I'm not saying about what white people think about me. And I say it all the time. Any black person that is celebrated by white people, it means he is a puppet. Any black person. That's why the only black president that was hated by white people was Zuma. Because Zuma was taking the wealth away from the white people and eating with his Gupta friends and his other black entrepreneurs, what you call your tenderpreneurs. Jacob Zuma is the only black president that was hated by white people. The only black president. They loved Nelson Mandela. They loved Thabo Mbeki. They loved Cyril Ramaphosa. They all hated Jacob Zuma. We don't want the apology anymore, Danny. We want what is rightfully ours. You don't want to give an apology anyway. You know, so we don't want an apology anymore. We don't want to. We thought that you will be human to understand, but we understand we are not dealing with humans here. You people are not normal. You are evil from the bone. And you started saying you are discriminated by, when you started chatting, you said you are different from Afrikaans people. You are not. You are showing me that you are not. You are showing me that you are not. You know, how do you say good when you say go to hell? I'm saying go to hell. I'm saying go to hell because that's where you guys took our ancestors, and that's the hell that we as Africans are living in now. We as Africans are living in a time where we don't use our language because of our colonizers. We as Africans are living in the hell because we don't have land. We as Africans are living in the hell because our colonizers are still looting our minerals underneath the ground that God has given us. That is the hell I'm talking about. Understand? Go to hell for the people who don't want to see any wrong from what they did. And yeah, they will never see. They will never see. Like I said, Mina Trina, I've never met a white person that is sympathetic about the crimes of apartheid. Not even one. I've never met. I don't want to lie. I've never met a white person sympathetic. Say, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We came to your land and colonized you, chased you away from your land, and started our own government, started our own reserve bank, started our own fund in your land. This is wrong, man. But no, they don't see it like that. Because they are barbaric from wherever they come from. So they want us to accept a wise man once said, white people must be grateful that black people want equality and not revenge. I'm going to end by saying that. God was with us. Amen. God was with us because we made it, man. We made it to the other side. These people wanted to kill us. These people wanted to kill the whole population, but they could not finish the black gene. We made children like nobody's business, you know. Yeah, we love God. We love. I'm a Christian, but I'm a Christian that understands that Christianity is from Africa. I'm that type of a Christian. I'm not a full Christian. I know Jesus Christ was a black man because Jesus Christ was crucified. White people don't kill each other the way they killed Jesus Christ. You can't make one example. And I don't want to get into religious talking because I am black before I'm Christian. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't want to get into the religious talk. But the Jesus they killed was a black man. And they know it. Go to Rome and check the pictures of Jesus Christ. They know it. It's just you black people that don't know it anyway. Didn't the British start apartheid? Yes, they did. The British and the Dutch and the Belgium. Okay, my people, listen. I'm happy we're enjoying the talk today. Let me do my closing remarks, guys. Let me do my closing remarks. So when we go, I guess we are done here. Yeah, I'm almost done. I'm finished. They have, but you guys stop writing comments because when you write comments, I'm reading them. They have the audacity to say to stay here. They have the audacity to stay here. Question us, tell us we are stupid, tell us we are negative, tell us all type of things. They have the audacity for everything, these people. Just my brother in Malawi, in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have already started the movement. Yes. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have already started the movement, but as long as the rest of Africa, the rest of the Western countries in Africa of ECOWAS don't join them, puppet countries like Nigeria with a weak old man that is in the ass of the European people that wants to attack Niger, the puppet people, all these countries, at least I saw Ghana telling Nigeria that they will not take part in attacking Niger. And at least we know that Burkina Faso's general, Ibrahim Touré, will help Niger. So I thank God. I thank God that we are, we are waking up as Africa. I want to do my closing remarks. Satan loves you. Remember that. Such stupid people. I don't know what these people are doing on the conversation, but I leave them because they are proving the point that I always make, that white people are the most heartless people you can find on planet Earth. And we as black people, we need to understand that unity amongst us is the best thing we can do. We as black people need to unite. We need to love each other. We need to envision an Africa where Africans are united. And it takes small steps. We are not going to do it overnight. It's not going to happen overnight that Africa is united, Africans love each other. We have to start by changing the language. We have to start by changing the educational system. We have to take out the borders in a systematic way, not just cutting them out. We must make sure that we have a central database for all Africans to be registered there. Then we have to have a stronger correctional service that punishes crimes on black crime. When you do a crime on a fellow black person, it needs to be punished double, so that Africans can learn to respect each other. Now, Satan pula apa angazi bathini lapha. Mina yazi mina nginebhadi vele ngoba every time mangenza into i-live bavele isiXhosa lesi mfethu. Ngiyabuza kunzima kancane ukusifunda isiXhosa, but ngiyabuza ukuthi uthini. Ngithi mina every time mangenza ngizwile mawuthi nawe utheni nangulo Sathane uqala apha ecaleni
Yeah, ngiyasizwa kancane luckily for mina ngiyakwazi ukufunda amalimi amaningi la e-Africa. So yeah, so with my closing remarks, I'm saying, my African brothers, you can see how these people treat us. You know, they follow us even on our platforms. They can see it's an African brother speaking about Pan-Africanism. They come here, they insult us, they tell us that we are negative, that we are stuck in the past, and they don't understand our pain from East Africa with love. Thank you so much, my brother Yusuf. Thank you so much, African Unite. Thank you so much, Free Palestine, Yusuf, Free Palestine. So thank you so much, my brother. So these people, they will never love us. They will never see themselves equal to black people. They will never, it's fine, I want them to follow us. They do fear us. They want to disturb us. They fear our unity. The unity of black people makes white people have sleepless nights. They don't want to see that. That's why they don't want to see political parties like the EFF. It makes them go to the toilet 30 times a night, thinking that the EFF, Julius Malema, might be president. They get sick in their stomach. And like I said, the person that is most hated by white people, probably that's the black person that we should vote for. The person feared by the white people, that's probably the person we should vote for. The person loved and celebrated by white people in South Africa, don't vote for that person. Do not vote for that person. So I'm saying, my African brothers and sisters, we have a big task in our hands for unity. We have a big task in our hands for showing love to one another. It starts in your household, with your brothers and sisters, with your family, with your friends. It starts there when you are with the people you are close to, and then it grows to the other people. So I want us to show completely compassion to one another. You know, support each other. If you can, support black businesses as much as you can. I know black business have not yet infiltrated most markets, but wherever you can find a black business, make sure that you support it. Understand? We are working. There's many organizations. It's not only this channel. There's many organizations that are working for the unity of Africa. We are just doing the little that we can do here, where we, with the little power that we have. Thank God for technology, where we can start spreading the word with these live streams and all of that. But it's just a drop in the ocean. Let us continue dropping that drops in the ocean, and very soon, Africa will be united. So when you see other African brothers and sisters, tell them about this channel, tell them about many other channels, and tell them that, listen, we as Africans need to stop this mentality of always fighting each other. Even when you see an African brother doing wrong from another country, and tell them, listen, you are disturbing the movement of the African agenda. We are trying to unite each other, and what you are doing is disturbing them. Other people don't care, other Africans don't care, but don't stop speaking. Don't stop showing love. Don't stop trying to get unity. Please, my African brothers. I mean, we have been speaking for almost 3 hours now. My throat is even dry. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We do this every Sunday, every Thursday. I might move it to every Tuesday also. But I think Tuesday I'll make it a Kiswahili day. I'll shift my Kiswahili to Tuesday, so that we can learn Kiswahili on Tuesday. You know, to just learn how to greet, the basics of Kiswahili, how to say habari, jambo, mimi na king, nina furaha kukutana na wewe. Just the basics, just to get by, know how to introduce yourself in an African language, in other African languages. unity, Bob Marley. Yes, the unity that Bob Marley was speaking about, the Africa that must wake up. So until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, African child, stand up, do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.